course, tastes vary, and what you enjoy as far as books, as far as media, is going to be different from me, but for potentially my future benefit or anyone else who may be interested in some new inputs. Not actually super sure what I'm going to call this video yet, but something to do with media or inputs, because I thought I wanted to share or record, encapsulate a few more thoughts on the artistic, creative story and media inputs that I experienced in the last year in 2023, with the intention of also recording along the way impressions this year and maybe refining my system of sort of digesting key takeaways and lessons and quotes so that I can get the most benefit out of them without making it be too much of a homework project or to be work. It should be enjoyable. These things are meant to inspire me, and so I don't want to make it too laborious, but also I do want to get those lovely benefits. So I'm open to one of my collections. This is the collections book, annual book for 2023, which I've shared already a flip through of if you're curious about that. But focusing today specifically on the books, the music, the media sort of elements that I enjoyed. Here's the full list of books I read, which I need to actually take a look and compare of what actually got captured from my digital reading on Goodreads this year. Usually that helps me sort of digest my sort of reading overview as well, but I always have a notebook sort of list version ongoing as well. So I take a look at sort of quarter to quarter, and it's very clear that I read a lot more fiction than nonfiction. I read fiction more quickly, and I think that's great. It keeps my love of reading alive. There's a lot of research that shows benefits to reading fiction and enjoying stories, so no shame in that game. But I did read some really great nonfiction books as well. Started and then also finished some. So I'll just run through those. I kicked off the year of reading with The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which was fantastic. I'm such a fan, or a new fan last year, I guess, or maybe the year before, I think it was last year, of Taylor Jenkins Reid. It was awesome. I gave it 4 stars at the time, but honestly, in hindsight, I just thought it was so well written and such an interesting story. And maybe it's not my very favorite of the ones she's written, but this is not really important. But I quite enjoyed it and would recommend. A Perilous Undertaking is a part of a series, the Veronica Speedwell series. It's so fun. It's a cozy mystery series with a butterfly expert heroine, and if you're into that sort of thing, it's great, and if you're not, of course, it wouldn't be as high. But several of these in your ratings, several of these are continuing in that series, and I love them. Treacherous Curse. Then we have some nonfiction. Real Artists Don't Starve, pretty good, gave it a 4, found it useful, don't know if I'll read it again. Dangerous Collaborations, another Veronica Speedwell. Back into nonfiction, The Go-Giver was all right. Not bad, not the best nonfiction ever, but certainly a bit didactic, but certainly had some beneficial points, and a good general approach to business and being in the world. Fiction, A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking, was delightful. It's like a children's or young sort of juvenile fiction that's also great for adults. It's scary but exciting, but has young heroes in it, a bit of magic. I quite like that. It would be great around Halloween and that sort of thing. Another series that is good if you like that sort of thing, but not for everyone, American Royals. I read the 3rd in the series. This Book Belongs To was all right. The Go-Giver Leader was also fine. A couple of outstanding nonfiction books that I read this year are The War of Art and also Storyworthy down the line in July. The War of Art I avoided reading for the longest time because, I don't know, I was off put. I haven't read The Art of War either, and with war in the title, I don't know. I didn't want conflict, but when I finally read it, of course, the war that Stephen Pressfield says that creatives have is with ourselves. So let's talk about the music I enjoyed in 2023. I created a bunch of new playlists, or sort of updated, sort of new versions of old playlists. Actually, I think these are all new ones here, but sadly an incomplete collected list, I think. I think there's a few more. I didn't capture them all, but that's okay. It's a few of the best, I guess the best of the year, including sort of a New Year's playlist, a delectable dance conditioning playlist, which is awesome. I keep sort of creating or updating that one actually to this day. It's fantastic. I enjoy it. A blooming flowers theme playlist, bird songs, juicy fruits, savoring September, sort of an early fall back to school one, spooky October sounds, harvest and Thanksgiving sounds. And yeah, that's been one of the projects I had last year, was actually updating, because I was transitioning from mostly being based in Spotify for my playlists and teaching and sort of musical collections that I'm using on a regular basis, over to YouTube Unlimited, YouTube Music, that whole sort of, what do you call it, ecosystem, because I'm already sort of in that Google universe, I guess. And it makes sense because video is also so helpful for, of course, everything in life now, but especially dance and things like that. So I guess we'll need to go sort of on a month-by-month basis, looking at the specific songs and playlists I was working with. And also I have some things about viewing as well that I'll go ahead and capture along the way. Oh yeah, and I did mention I've got a favorite playlist. A little guy over here, collection. Since I was making that transition, I wanted to make sure I had sort of this is also not exhaustive, but I had somewhere where I'm sort of keeping track of, as I thought of things, some of my favorite playlists of the past that I've created and will want to reference and maybe recreate or share. Of course, they're still available, but on those platforms that are owned by others and not by me. Of course, that sort of data, that information can always be lost, so I like to have something that sort of reminds me, yes, I have a collection of significant music or other sorts of ideas, and sort of capture that in multiple ways whenever possible, so I always have the ability to reference back to it sort of as an archive. So I use Evernote for that, I use journals for that, and yeah, so here's the January media. This postcard is from an awesome special exhibit that we went to called Susanna, and I think our first, or one of the first theatrical experiences of the year, was called Reset, A Night Without Men. Very interesting because at this theater, Studio Trafic, it was live action, but they were using microphones and video technology such that you saw the actors from different angles and in different ways, they could manipulate the video, and very interesting approach using technology. Yeah, that was the first theatrical, because then we had also finally the chance to see The Nutcracker, as was planned long ago, but it wasn't the planned performance. And I'll have more to say, I think, in the future about the live performances we enjoyed. We did enjoy them all, but that was kind of not quite what was expected in that case. So in January 2023, I only completed one book, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. It was outstanding. Definitely one of my favorite reads of the year. Would totally recommend. Absolutely engrossing. As far as listening, I created a couple of playlists. My Fresh New Year playlist is a classic, and I used that one. But then I made a Beautiful New Year 2023 playlist, and it had some very interesting musical influences that month. The Power of a Love, which was actually from a Christmas video friends sent to us, which is so just such a banger. Bloody Mary by Lady Gaga from Wednesday is actually a favorite of students of mine. Of course, a lot of my music influences come from students of all ages. And a pop hit that made it to my ears was I Made You Look by Meghan Trainor. Yeah, so all these readings, of course, are recording in my master reading list, but in February, I did complete a couple of Veronica Speedwell mysteries, A Dangerous Undertaking and A Treacherous Curse, and also a nonfiction book, Real Artists Don't Starve. None were necessarily the very top books of the year, but I did enjoy and get value out of each of them. As far as music, there was some German music, some English music that I particularly enjoyed. The songs highlighted here are one of the hot hits of the year, Unholy by Sam Smith, plus, hey, I put Bloody Mary again. I guess we were listening to that a lot. The German Carnival lied is Auf uns, and in terms of viewing, we did a lot of viewing. Including You People, A Girl Called Birdie, Your Place or Mine, and the Sea Beast films series such as The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Schitt's Creek, and Naked and Afraid. And that reminds me, in January, did I talk about the viewing? Yeah. That was viewing White Noise, Die Goldfische, der Gestiefelte Kater, or the Puss in Boots, a new movie in German. Series such as Welcome to Chippendales, Naked and Afraid, Golden Girls, and some live performances, as well as culture, such as watching the Eddie Aikau surf competition. Wow, we can really see the return of energy and time and, motivation in March. Did a bunch of reading. Didn't finish Rebecca. It's a thriller, a gothic thriller, and I got a little bit creeped out. I think I want to watch it during spooky season. But I did finish some nonfiction, The Go-Giver and The Go-Giver Leader, as well as another Veronica Speedwell mystery, a standalone novel for, I think it's for young readers actually, A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking, which was outstanding, and a couple of other decent novels, American Royals 3 and This Book Belongs To. In viewing, we watched a classic, Superstar, as well as Murder Mystery 2, which is just super silly and fun. Series that we revisited or continued were Schitt's Creek, Naked and Afraid, Dragonfly Lane, What We Do in the Shadows, oh gosh, one of my faves, and Alaska Daily. In listening, I have a St. Patrick's Day Irish Ballet playlist that I love, that I've created an update, as well as a Women's History Month playlist that the ACLU made that I enjoyed. A Pocketful of Sunshine playlist I was working on for April and beyond, and I can't wait to get this song out again this spring, They Need Flowers by Miley Cyrus, which was just everywhere this year, or last year, and probably this year too. Apparently in April I was preoccupied with other things, or not recording everything that I was consuming, not sure which in hindsight, but A couple of outstanding series are White Lotus, so crazy, but it's just so entertaining, as well as Killing Eve. That's a violent one, so warning. And listening were Crazy and Comet, which were also favorites of my students specifically. I finished reading The Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels. It was okay. The War of Art was an outstanding nonfiction read of the year, and the Mahu series was a fiction series that I began in April. In May, I was in both Germany and Hawaii and continued reading on a couple series that were favorites of the year, the Mahu Mystery Series and the Veronica Speedwell Mystery Series. And I viewed some things for the first time, such as the Grand Sumo Tournament, which I watched on TV at home, at least the highlights on NHL. Continued watching Queer Eye Season 7, and music highlights included some recommendations from students. I Want to Be Yours by the Arctic Monkeys, as well as some sort of nostalgic favorites or new favorites while I was at home, including Chant of the Islands by Fiji, Catch a Tan by Kimie Minor, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, and Big Island Moonlight by the Brown Boys. For June nonfiction reading, I started in on Storyworthy, and fiction-wise was reading The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy for my birthday since I was turning 42 that month. And of course I was continuing my usual daily sort of reading selections, listening to a bunch of fun summery songs, Watermelon Sugar, Strawberry Bubblegum, The Sea, Swing, Light My Fire, and Cuff It. And lots of fun viewing as well with The Leisure of the Summer. We finished The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. We watched American Gladiators, Muscle and Mayhem, which was just such a wild documentary series. And, or was that the sort of retelling? No, I forget. Almost a year later, we did continue watching The Golden Girls, Killing Eve, Never Too Small, and Forensic Files series. As far as July, summer media, music, reading, and watching, I did finish reading Storyworthy in July, along with participating in Camp NaNoWriMo, or Camp Memoir, which I did write about on the blog as well. I started working on The Creative Act, which was a book I bought as an ebook new release, I believe last year. Have not completed it yet, but it's a good one to chip away at slowly. And fiction, that was the month I read Carrie Soto Is Back, outstanding. And I was working on a couple of other nonfiction books with my yoga practice, namely Yoga Through the Year and Mudra, Yoga in Your Hands, which I believe I actually purchased those for my birthday, also as ebooks for my Kindle. In viewing, we were watching the Godless series, Golden Girls, Forensic Files, Naked and Afraid, and a couple of films, including Empire of Light, and They Cloned Tyrone. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. That is also wild. And, oh yeah, we actually watched Ayla play a game on the PlayStation, Stray, which was an enjoyable viewing experience as well. Created with Love. It's a cat who's the main character of that game. And we did also watch the final of the Women's World Cup in sports and culture. Ooh, I bought a couple of other books in August, getting ready for the new school year, and those were The Creative Act and The War of Art, some top books of the year. I did finish the War of Art, and I will be working on The Creative Act. In fiction, continued the Veronica Speedwell series with number 8, A Sinister Revenge, Mika in Real Life was a very good fiction pick, I thought, this year. And The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches as well. Music and listening highlights were Lemonade and Blue Moon for that late summer feeling. And in viewing, highlights included Guardians of the Galaxy, the latest, and we continued a series, or started a series. Oh yeah, continued Only Murders in the Building and Oroville. For September media, I did finish the Mahu mysteries that month, as well as a standalone book called The Mermaid, the Witch, and the Sea, which I really enjoyed. I started the alphabet superset, so some of the musical highlights actually go in alphabet order, including All I Need by Air, Boogie Chillin' by Johnny Lee Hooker, Collide, and Drop It Like It's Hot, but also, given the month, September by Earth, Wind, and Fire, and some new favorites, Padam Padam, Paint the Town Red, Float, and some podcasts. I actually recorded that month. That's nice. Playlist, Lightning in a Bottle podcast, Andrew Huberman podcast. Playlists included Early Fall and Back to School Dance, Savoring September, Twist the Knife, viewing continued Only Murders in the Building, Florida Man. Oh, that's a good one. Also, suspense and violence, but good. Golden Girls and Naked and Afraid. Renfield, the new Dracula movie, loved it. Elemental was a very cute Disney Pixar film, and we saw Barbie finally in the theater. Mixed feelings about it, but glad I saw what the hype was all about. October was a really outstanding month for culture and media. We got to see this fantastic work by Una Doherty and dancers called Navy Blue. It was, I think, my favorite live performance of the whole year, and if you have a chance to see it, I super recommend. Would have loved to write a more thorough review. That's why I've got this journal shoved in here, because I took notes at the time, but I haven't taken the time to publish or sort of flesh that out at all. I just have my notes in the program, but it was great. Go see it. As far as other media viewing and whatnot, I read a great fiction book or cozy mystery that I really enjoyed called Killers of a Certain Age. Worked on Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy further. I guess we hadn't finished it nearly in June, but did finish it last year. And a book called Small Town Big Magic. It was all right. The alphabet superset had me listening to Everything Has an End, Even Sadness, Float, and Ghosts. Those 3 songs, as well as my Spooky October Sounds YouTube playlist is a fun one to get out for classes during October. And I really enjoyed the songs Autumn's Waltz, This Is Halloween, and Season of the Witch. In viewing, we completed the sex education series, Only Murders in the Building, Golden Girls, the final season. So sad to start the final season, and we did finish watching the whole series last year. And highlights of Princess Charming, which is a German reality series, but is amazing. It's like The Bachelor, Bachelorette kind of, except with lesbians. On YouTube, Coffee House Crime, we enjoy quite a bit of real true crime. And we saw the film called Bruised by Halle Berry. We have a ghost, and that was it for films. Yeah, the Navy Blue live performance, which was incredible. Great dancing, great tech, great thought-provoking work. Which brings me actually to my current seasonal or quarterly book, which we're about to switch out in March. Crazy. And in terms of media for November, I read a couple of
enjoyable novels, Thrice the Brinded Cat Hath Mewed and Same Time Next Summer. The Alphabet Superset had me listening to How You Like That by Blackpink, In the Night by The Weeknd, Jealousy by FKA Twig, and Kelly Watch the Stars by Air. Playlists include My Harvest and Halloween Songs, and Send Me Sighing Bluesy Autumnal Jazz. I just love listening to jazz in the autumn. I don't know why. Not necessarily all year, but some moody, bluesy, yeah, really feels right in autumn. As far as viewing, Last Stop Larimar was a very interesting true crime Netflix documentary. All My Homies Hate Skrillex is another Netflix documentary that, if you like music history, that's a really great one. Fascinating if you're into that topic, like I said. What was that? Oh, The Case of Jenna. That's another true crime. Down for Love is a documentary about folks with Down syndrome searching for love, as it sounds like. There's also a Love on the Spectrum series. They're just really heartwarming, feel-good documentary type of series. The Body series and Love Hard Film. And also, I highlighted the Rick and Morty Thanksgiving episode because it's fun to see sort of seasonal things that I'd like to maybe revisit another time. And there was another sumo championship in November. Wrapping up the year of reading, listening, viewing, my last couple of novels that I read in December were Yellowface and Mystery at Mistletoe Manor. You will have heard of Yellowface probably. It was super hyped up, and rightfully so. Extremely well written and interesting, also very relevant topic, but also sort of a psychological thriller that with a sort of hard to take main character. So I have mixed feelings about the book. It was really, really well done, but I don't know if I'd read it again. Mystery at Mistletoe Manor was just a really fun, cozy, Christmassy mystery. Ooh, and I also was listening to cozy, Christmassy winter music, including my Silver Bells winter dance playlist, Nutcracker Ballet class playlist, and classics such as The Muppets Christmas and Casimiro Christmas. And viewing things along those lines too. The Statistical Probability of Love at First Sight was a fun, sweet film. And we finished finally the final season of Golden Girls with the end of the year. Continued the series called Download, a film called Moonshot, and the Indiana Jones film. Oh, yes, and recommended by my friend Dom, the Ultimatum Queer Love reality series, which is fantastic and horrific at the same time. Yeah, so that's all my media highlights of the year, at least as recorded into my bullet journal. I hope that's relevant to me or someone else in the future, and it has been fun actually to take in those things and also consider what things I want to revisit in the coming year, or what new things to read, to listen to see that would be the most enjoyable and beneficial inputs. And of course, live performances as well. Let me know what you particularly enjoyed or are looking forward to, or what I should not miss. And I hope you are having a wonderful year so far, and we'll chat again real soon.